Just like I thought they would, the Golden State Warriors marched into the Target Center and mollywopped the new owners of Crypto Arena. Are the Warriors really this good, or were the Timberwolves just caught off guard? Hey, what's happening, everyone? This is Swish Culture. A shocking thing happened early in Game 1 between the Timberwolves and Warriors. Stephen Curry started grabbing at his thighs early in the second quarter and had to leave the game. It was later announced that he was suffering from a hamstring strain, an injury that could see Curry miss anywhere from one game to the remainder of the series. Details of the MRI will be revealed later. However, the fate of the series against Minnesota could hang on his return. So, how did the Warriors manage to take down a healthy Timberwolves team with only one day of rest while missing their star player, and is this sustainable for the rest of the series? Clearly, one team was more locked in than the other. Let's look at how this series could shape up without Steph Curry. We'll also take a look at how the Houston series might have prepared Golden State for going up against the Ant-Man. Before that, however, be sure to like the video and subscribe to Swish Culture for the most analytical and entertaining NBA content on the planet. A very unusual development for the Warriors just took place. Steve Kerr, believing that the team needs Buddy Hield in the starting lineup to be successful, even with Steph Curry, has put the onus on the Bahamian to step up and become a defensive stopper.
Buddy certainly doesn't have a reputation as a top defensive player, but
he's changing that.
I was
right
going to
now.
say,
yeah, he's a stop. Buddy is our stopper.
Surprisingly, Buddy, who was asked to guard Anthony Edwards, has not only taken on that challenge, but also delivered.
He's strong, he's quick. He can stay in front of people. I thought he did a really good job both on Jalen Green and Van Vliet, during the Houston series. And, he's going to have to guard Ant some in this series, which is as big a challenge as there is.
Edwards, who took 22 shots to make 23 points, while also grabbing 14 rebounds in 42 minutes, really struggled in the first half. Hield, by comparison, also struggled in the first half, missing his first 8 field goal attempts, finishing with 24 points on 19 shots. He also grabbed 8 rebounds in his 40 minutes of playing time. Hield has always been a very interesting player. He's often chided for not being a good defender, always running at bolt speed, but never under control. He started his Warriors tenure with an immaculate resume, going so far as to put himself in the MVP top 10 list earlier on in the season with incredible shooting at 44% from 3 for his first 15 games. He's struggled since then, but might have recently turned back the clock and become the player that the Warriors were shocked that they found for as cheaply as they did. Despite his struggles mid-season, Kirk kept Hield in the rotation as a shooting threat to encourage spacing on the floor for guys like Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga, and more recently Jimmy Butler. And now that the two have a rather interesting off-court dynamic, it seems the team chemistry has only gotten better over time.
We had to make sure he got his joy back, because somehow he lost his joy. We're not going to say where he lost his joy, but somehow he lost his joy.
Why do you keep doing this? Do you even know what these are called? What are they called?
2 fingers.
This all but guarantees Hield as the team's starting small forward until further notice. Actually, make that shooting guard with Steph Curry's recent injury.
Christine, sources tell me that Stephen Curry underwent an MRI this morning and he has been diagnosed with a grade 1 left hamstring strain. The Warriors expect him to miss at least 1 week, and this is the first muscle strain of Stephen Curry's NBA career.
While there doesn't seem to be a particular play where the injury occurred, what we know is that at one point, Steph Curry began grabbing his hamstring and calling to the bench for a replacement. He still made a great play that led to a basket, forcing the Timberwolves to call a timeout, at which point he exited the game and headed to the locker room. He was then diagnosed with a left hamstring injury and would not return to the game. The official diagnosis on the grade of the injury will let the Warriors know if it's going to be a 1 or 2 game sideline or something closer to 2 weeks. At this point in the game, the Warriors were up 10 points and had a ton of momentum, which, considering the lack of offense from the Timberwolves, who ended up scoring only 11 second quarter points, could have lost in blowout fashion had Curry not been injured. Unlike when Jimmy went down, there wasn't as much of a scramble. However, Steve Kerr ended up using 7 players off the bench in spurts, including both Kuminga and Pat Spencer. Both players provided decent minutes. Now, are the Timberwolves really that bad, or was there something else at play? One factor is the extended rest that they had after beating the Lakers. With an entire week off, it's easy to see why these guys could have been out of rhythm. The next factor is that the Warriors just came off playing an extremely aggressive and physical Rockets team who played a very high-level game against Golden State. This likely primed some of the younger guys and role players for a tough, grinded-out matchup and brought playoff intensity to the Timberwolves instead of the Wolves bringing it to them. Even though Curry was only in for a few minutes, what we saw was enough to realize that Amen Thompson really left a mark and defensively left some shoes to be filled. The lack of aggression from Minnesota was a welcome departure for Golden State. A third factor is that the Warriors have been the #1 defensive team in the league since the acquisition of Jimmy Butler. The Timberwolves have the 7th ranked offense this season at 113, but only managed to score 88 points on the Warriors. While I'm not going to attribute the entirety of this low-scoring output to the Warriors' defense, the combination of factors shows just how well players were prepared going into Game 1. With Curry out, there will be some changes to the rotations and Steve Kerr will have a tough task. Asking this team to win without the chef when they struggled to do so in the past. Don't expect the Timberwolves to come out flat next game. As a matter of fact, expect Game 2 to be the toughest game that the Warriors have faced since the playoffs started. Chris Finch has specifically said it starts with Edwards.
You mentioned kind of the energy, the spirit starts with Ant. Is that something that you and he talk about maybe ahead of Game 2 now?
No, I mean, what is there to talk about? I mean, you're the leader of the team, and you got to come out and set the tone.
So best believe that such an experienced playoff team will come back with an answer, one that could really hurt the Warriors without Curry. Steph has always been the hope of this team coming back if they find themselves on the wrong side of a double-digit lead. But now that option is no longer available in the near future. I'm expecting Kerr to prioritize shooting and ball handling in the starting lineup. While it might seem like a good time to start Quinton Post, his minutes have fallen significantly as he's struggling to make an impact. He was nowhere to be found on the scoreboard in Game 1, having not made a single shot attempt. Trace wouldn't be a great matchup for Rudy as he's outclassed in size, skill, and experience, so looking at the sub-patterns, we might see a starting lineup that includes Pods, Buddy, GP2, Jimmy, and Draymond. While it might make more sense to have Moody at the 3 instead of Gary, Moody really struggled in Game 1 and Steve might want to see more from him before putting him in that position. Another player who struggled but likely won't see any reduction as the team doesn't really have that many ball handlers is Pods, so he's one to watch. Steve might have to lean heavily on him because otherwise, the crossover might be the Warriors' only option. While Spencer is all of 28 and mostly played in the G League, GP2 was a gem the Warriors discovered in a similar manner. Spencer brings a level of toughness that the team definitely needs at times, and if he can continue being as productive, his role could see a boost this series. With the team's leading scorer out, the Warriors might find themselves leaning a bit onto Jonathan Kuminga, who seems to be finding his footing somewhere within the flow of the team's offense. While he could stand to be more aggressive, he has shown that he's capable of impacting the game. While he only played 13 minutes, it's twice what he played in Game 7 against the Rockets, which is a good sign for him. All in, it seems the Warriors got the win on the road that they need. If they lose Game 2, it won't be such a big deal. However, winning Game 2 would send a message to not just the Timberwolves, but to the rest of the teams remaining in the playoffs. The Warriors have punched them in the mouth. Now it's up to them how they respond. Let me know your thoughts on Game 1. Do you think the Timberwolves were caught slipping, or are they just that bad? Do they recover and give the Warriors a taste of their own medicine, or do they succumb to a 1-2 punch without Steph Curry? Lastly, who should be in the starting lineup? Post your thoughts in the comments below. Just be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all your notifications so you don't miss any of my latest uploads. Thanks for watching. Till next time.